Today we are transplanting some beets into this bed in our hoop house. We actually just had beans in here until about 3-4 days ago. Then we pulled those. So we try to get in the next crop as soon as we can, especially in the hoop houses. We like to always have something growing. And so we have some beets here, some nice transplants.
Stephen, do you want to
Ready to go? And these were started about, I think, 3 weeks ago. So this time of year they grow pretty quick and they're ready to go in the ground. So we do beets mainly. We try to do them in the hoop house as much as we can, for the sake of the beet tops. The beet tops in the heat, if they're out in the open, they get hit pretty hard with disease, and they don't look very nice. You can still get a nice beet root, but the leaf part of it can get pretty rough looking. So in the hoop house, by keeping the rainwater off of the foliage, it keeps disease from forming, and you get a lot nicer beet tops. So we have our transplants here that we
Stephen, do you want to come show how you plant them?
We used to direct seed the beets, but by direct seeding you have to thin them because the seeds that you plant are actually clusters of seeds. And so these transplants, I put like two seeds in each, but a lot of times you might get 4 or 5 plants of them. So when you're direct seeding, if it's dropping like 5 or 6 at a time, you could have 15 plants coming up in the same spot. And when you have that many, they crowd each other out, and it keeps them from forming nice roots. And so we'll get some to you in a little bit to plant, okay? So we do it this way to keep nice spacing. So this way we have to spend more time in the planting part of it, but we don't have to come back and thin them. And overall we get a lot more uniform and nice looking beets. So we can show you. It's pretty straightforward as far as putting them in the ground, but I do 3 rows, but I offset the rows, so it's kind of to give them better spacing. It's kind of like a diamond almost. And I could go through and measure it, but I kind of just eyeball it. It usually comes out about right. It's usually, so for a 100-foot row, it'd be, for us, the way we do it, it'd be 4 flats. This is about a 75-foot row, so it's 3 flats. And so we finished 2 flats, and we have probably about a third of it left here that we'll finish up with this flat. Okay, here's Stephen. I'll get you there you go. Put it right there. Do you want to show them how you plant?
Yes.
Tell them what you do. What are you doing? What are you doing with that hand? You're digging. Are you moving the dry compost, and you're getting into the wet compost?
Yeah.
And then you push the transplant down, and then you use some of the wet compost to push up around it, right? To firm it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you, Stephen, for showing us how to plant beets. How did your face get mud on it?
Mud? Hey Dad, should I do it right here?
I'll do it right there. The only tricky part are these beet stems can be very tender, so getting them to come out can be tricky, especially if you only have like one beet transplant that came up, so you don't have a whole lot of stem there to pull out the plug. But like three or 4 is a nice amount. But also to help them come out easier, a lot of times we'll tip them up and allow gravity to kind of slide out with the plant. Here, I'll show you. Here's one that only has 1. Let's see if I can get the whole plug to come out.
Hey Dad, should I do it right here? Should I do it right here?
Nope, see, that one didn't. It still has some roots there, so we'll still plant it. But so try. That's the only thing that's hard with this. If you don't get good germination, you have a lot of single plants in a cell, it becomes tricky to transplant. Yep, right there. That's good.
So until next time, eat well, live well.